Taupo, New Zealand, home to New Zealand's exciting tourism industry, and now playing host to New Zealand's fastest motorsport, the 45th NZDRA Drag Racing Nationals, brought to you by Rizlan. Taupo Thunder Dragway brings you the premier drag racing event in 2013, and the competitors are keenly aware that this event is the last chance to collect series points to become the national champion.
First up, qualifying for Top Door Slammer, featuring the immaculate Chevy Beretta of Rod Benji's and Mike Reed burning out an hour in the 55 Chevy. It's rocking and rolling a little bit on the start line. And Rod Benji showing us all about what a long, strong burnout he can manage in that Chevy Beretta. So the West Coast Classics car of Mike Reed moving into stage now. Qualifying in Top Door Slammer always brings us lots of action. And straight away on the start line, Mike Reed has broken the transmission in the Chevy car. Will he be able to fix it? We don't know. And beside him, though, the Benji's Beretta runs a 827 at 192 miles an hour.
So Rod, co-owner here of this car with John, you've come up from Upper Hutt today.
Yes, that's correct. John and I are based in Upper Hutt. We've brought up our 92 Chevy Beretta. John and I built this about 4 years ago from scratch. And this is our second meeting of the season because we're waiting on a new engine block. So it's still a bit of a trial for us today.
I believe only one run yesterday. How did that go?
Apart from blowing the tyres off the line, because it was a bit cold on the track, it was actually a really good run. As I said, it was our first go at Taupo with this car, so we're still trying to get it tuned. So to get on the track for that first round, really good for us.
Top Door Slammer featuring gorgeous cars, and none more special than the FX Holden of Gary Benham. In beside him, Russell Lowe in the Camaro, smoking in the start line, and Will standing at the end of the burnout. Pretty tricky sort of a deal, that. Both cars being guided to stage. Always important to place the cars in the correct position on the start line. Revs will come up. Benham leaves clean, and Lowe with a wheel-standing start. Doesn't look like it's a clean pass for the Camaro. And he's coming around at half-track, and will he get past him? Yes, he does, with a great 741 at 176 miles an hour against the slowing Holden of Gary Benham's.
Hi, my name's Nigel. I'm driving a Volkswagen Beetle. It's got a 2500cc Volkswagen engine in it. I've done 2 runs in it to date. Still learning, but a great car. We've got 2 drivers, and we're both having a ball.
Just watching you on your first qualifying run before, it's got a bit of a wheel stand.
Yeah, it does that every time, apparently.
Plans for today? You got a record you want to break?
Probably not hit the other driver is my main worry at the moment.
Super Sedan is Dial Your Own Racing. This is the first round of eliminations featuring Robbie Ward and Nigel Scott in that little VW. Love the in-car camera action. He's out in front on a Dial Your Own handicap system, and Robbie Ward won and down in the Nissan Skyline. I don't think he can, but yes, he does. We've got problems for the little VW. 860 at 160 miles an hour for Robbie Ward. And we can see from the in-car action that he's missed a gear and suffered gear change problems.
Robbie Ward, a very exciting weekend for you this weekend.
Yeah, first time out with our new car. Just finished it for a customer in England, and it's absolutely delivered, so I'm wrapped.
Doesn't look like the sort of car that's running at its maximum. It looks like there's still a bit more you could squeeze out of it.
Yeah, there's plenty left. Yeah, I'm pretty confident we'll be 820s or 830s if we wanted to lean on it.
And that's still going to keep it reliable?
Yeah, I mean, obviously at the pace it is now, we've got a lot of data to show that it's going to be reliable at that sort of pace, which is still enough to be competitive for my guy. And even at 820, 830, it's pretty reliable, yeah.
And in the second round of Super Sedan, Robbie Ward was matched up against the big block pony car of Ron Olsen. Ron Olsen dialing in with a 10.40, a big 8.55 from the Nissan Skyline of Robbie Ward. Both cars moving into stage. Big block Ford powered versus RB30 power on board the blue Nissan. Clean start for the pony car, but a red light for Robbie Ward in the Nissan Skyline, ending his race hopes early. Great run nevertheless, still runs the car through for a very quick time, an 8.60 at 159 miles an hour. But the win going to Ron Olsen in the Mustang. Featuring some great undercar footage of what it takes to burn out and the horsepower required in the big Plymouth of Trevor Dick. Super Sedan always providing us with a great variety of cars and some smoky action. And beside him, Phil Webber in his gorgeous Chevy Coupe. This guy a big competitor in the Super Sedan ranks. Dial Your Own Racing, Trevor Dick dials a 10.68, leaves first against the 9.52 Dylan of the Chevy Coupe. But a red light on the start line ends the Chevy's racing hopes early. Trevor Dick takes an easy win across the finish line, and Trevor is through to the next round of eliminations.
Trevor, certainly a good result so far. You're through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, good day. We did qualifying this morning and cars going real consistent, so hopefully we can carry on. It's a 67 Plymouth Barracuda, originally a 273 Chrysler engine. It was rebuilt in 1991 in the States. They put the 440 and everything in it. Went to the drags and was going to be happy with a 12.8, but then we got the disease and now we're doing 10, so yeah.
So what's next for the car? Are you happy with where it is?
No, never happy. We just want to try and get the wheels higher off the ground and maybe go a bit faster, so.
And there's some other competitors that want to go faster than Trevor. Reese Humphries burning out in the big Plymouth Barracuda. And beside him, the Dodge Daytona of Matt Gibbons. Nice and clean, late model power on board. Just great to see big engines and big cars on the start line here at Taupo Thunder Dragway. Clean starts for both sides of the racetrack. A 910 dial-in for the Plymouth Barracuda. Runs down the Dodge Daytona. Will he make it? He doesn't get across the finish line first. And the Daytona takes the win with a 963 on a 963 dial. Second round of Super Sedan action is Jackson versus Duckett. Duckett in the Total Lubricants Corvette has dialed in a 900. Jackson in the Tirana with a 1030 will leave first. Both cars coming into stage. The Tirana will leave first. Watch the reaction time on the start line. Clean greens both sides of the racetrack. What will happen at the finish line where it's all important? Will the Corvette be able to run down the Tirana? I don't know if he can do it. And yes, he does with a 909 on a 900 dial-in. Good racing. Modified Eliminator, second round. Leland and Mason enjoying a solo pass in this run in the little front engine digger. He's dialed an 895. Cruises through for a 1019. Easy win into the next round of eliminations. Gareth Rogers in the little Fiat Topolino burning out, and beside him Hayes in the little green tea bucket. Modified Eliminator about the great range of open, often nostalgia-based race cars. The crew just making sure that the ever-important safety equipment, the parachute, is unlocked before the pass. Both cars moving into stage. Clean greens both sides of the racetrack. The little Ford tea bucket getting out in front early in the piece. Will the Topolino get down to the back end of the racetrack quickly? Yes, he does. Takes the win with a 943 on a 941 dial-in. Next pair of competitors in this round, a Modified Eliminator. Patterson in the Fontana-powered front-engine dragster, a very unusual combination. A more conventional V8-powered car of Boyce. Gets away clean on the start line. I don't know if he can run down the little four-cylinder dragster. Oh, and a double breakout with Boyce taking the win by running closer to his dial-in. Now into Supercharged Outlaws, and this is the fast dial your own bracket in drag racing. Davidson in the Supercharged Outlaws dragster. Davidson just bumping in the dragster into stage. He'll enjoy a solo pass in this round of eliminations. His dial-in, a 710, an opportunity to test it out. What will he run on this pass? Nice and clean. 721 at 182 mile an hour. The next pairing of Supercharged Outlaws first round action, Dean Cadman in the Black Willys Coupe. What a fantastic looking car, one of the few sedans in this bracket. Beside him, the FBS sponsored Craig Griffith car all the way up from Nelson. Enjoying a great qualifying session. Now here's time to put his numbers down on the racetrack where it counts. 800 dial-in for Griffith, 790 clean greens. And the dragster's well behind. Will he be able to make it up across the finish line? No, I don't think he can. But Cadman breaks out in the Willies by a huge amount and hands the win back to the dragster. Moving into the final pairing of the first round of elimination, Supercharged Outlaws. Christensen leaves hard against the historic race car of Smith. They're both on a 755 dial-in. Look at the dragster run down the little car and takes a solid win with a 770 on a 755 dial-in. Back into semi-finals time of Super Sedan, and Trevor Dick, Ron Olsen coming up now. Dick with his 1071 dial-in, a 1000 for Ron Olsen in the pony car. Once again, clean greens on the start line. The Mustang, don't know if he's going to be able to run down the slower car of Trevor Dick. The Plymouth staying well out in front. Look how close that is across the finish line, but Trevor Dick taking a solid win, 1078 on a 1071 dial-in. Trevor Dick is in the final against one of these two competitors, Matt Gibbons or Rex Duckett. Gibbons burning out now in the Dodge Daytona. Rex Duckett smoking in the start line in the Total Lubricants Corvette. He's dialed a 900 against a 963 of the Dodge Daytona. The little graphics around the air intake. Both cars moving into stage, placing it carefully into stage. Clean greens once again, but it looks like the advantage has gone to the Dodge Daytona on the start line. Will he maintain it all the way down the racetrack? And yes, he does. Takes the win with a margin of 7/10,000ths of a second. Semi-finals time in modified eliminator, Rogers, Leon Mason. This time Leon Mason's got to make a run of it after enjoying a solo pass. Gets off the start line. He's dialed a 900 against the 939 of Rogers. Nice and clean across the finish line, and the solid win going to Rogers with a 948 on a 939 dial. Now with 10 cars in any field, you're going to get an odd number of cars. And oh, look at that. Boyce nearly hitting the wall in his solo pass in the semi-finals. He'll go into the finals not knowing what to set the dial in at after that run. Semi-finals time of Supercharged Outlaws. Christensen in the Supercharged Outlaw drags. I'm not sure about the start line there. He dialed a 755. He'll get an opportunity to test it out. Something coming off the car at the bottom end of the track, and he still runs through for a 796 at only 157 miles an hour. And he'll go into the final against one of these two competitors, Griffith or Davidson. Both of these cars, Supercharged Outlaws cars, great competitors, watching them staged carefully. And look at that, a pedal on the left-hand side of the racetrack with Griffin. I wonder if he can make up for that loss of ET on the start line. I don't think he can. Great win going to Davidson with a 722 and a 710. Griffith lighting up the tyres on the start line and pedaling, costing him the race. Now moving into competition bike, the first of our Group 2 brackets, handicapped on national records, Graham Fox in the Westlake powered competition bike, great looking bike. This time round on a solo pass, Graham riding for a friend who passed away recently. A great run here for Graham Fox, just manoeuvring it away from the centre line of the racetrack. The national record of 983 runs it through for a 9.9. Next pass in the semi-final pairing, the AA drag bike of Ian Wilkins, a turbocharged Suzuki, an absolute weapon. The national record is a 768. He owns this. Adams in beside him though, he's got to make a great run of it. He gets away first. Look at the handicap on the start line, and look at this bike wind up across the finish line. Will he run against him? I don't think he'll make it. Yes, he does. An 8.30 is quick enough to get across the finish line first. That must have been so close across the finish line. Eliminator starts in the semi-finals. 3 quality cars entered for the field. John Gordy burning out and enjoying a solo pass into the finals. The little green altered has a national record of 8.20. What number will he run against it? And oh no, he doesn't get to run any number. He's crossed the centre line on a very erratic run, brings it back into line. All is well for the car and himself. He'll get into the finals, but yeah, very nervous, John Gordy. Gordy will run against one of these two cars, the Clinton Lockheed Altered, featuring SR20 turbo-powered, mix of old and new technology against the more conventionally engined Roadster of Clark Murray. Just waiting for both cars to back up. A quick thumbs up from the crew, and Lockheed will stage the turbo Altered. Just waiting now for Clark Murray with the Clark Murray team to stage the more conventionally powered Roadster. He'll leave first. Great lead by the little turbo Altered. He's still behind at half track. Watch it spool up at the top end of the track and make a big top end, and runs a 784 on a 783 national record. Great stuff. Now we'll get a bit of a shot on board on the car. Good lead. Watch it run down the Roadster beside him, and a great shot going down Taupo Thunder Dragway across the finish line at 171 miles an hour. All finals time here at Taupo Thunder Dragway. Our first competitors up, junior drags to the stars of the future, where we have restrictions on age, capacity and horsepower. These guys will still run in dial your own class and are producing the future stars of the sport. Morris McMillan and Top Door Slammer, a great example of these guys. Cody Waters taking the win with a 13.12 on a 12.90 dial, and against Corey Silk. The final of modified bike coming up now. Rod McBride versus Greg Leach. Long, strong burnout in the little Triumph-based modified bike. Handicaps 11.98 to the Triumph, 16.50 to Leach. He'll leave first by a big handicap on the tree. Clean greens. He's got a big job in front of him to run him down. I wonder if we can look at the distance on the racetrack. I don't know that he can run him down. Yes, he does. He manages to make him at about 1,000 feet, takes the win with 11.99 on 11.98. Oh, fantastic racing in the final of modified bike. Finals time for Super Street Eliminator, the cruising customs, rod and custom shop car of Graham Lilly, the very popular Ford Pop, up against the late model Holden of Ball. Lilly with the little Ford Pop leaves on a early red light, takes the automatic win to Ball. He'll run it through anyway. Super Street, the entry-level class for our street competitors, very popular class. Ball taking the win with a 14.08 on a 13.90 dial-in. And look at the red light on the tree. Too early on the start line for Graham Lilly in the Ford Pop. And straight into a modified eliminator final. Boyce in the yellow Alton. Now he's Alton 9.05, and beside him Gareth Rogers, when we see him come up now in the little Topolino, 9.46. Clean greens on the start line. The Topolino gets out first and strong. Will he maintain the pace all the way down the racetrack? And the yellow Alton's starting to run him down, but I don't think he can do it. No, he doesn't. A solid 9.46 dial-in. He run a 9.47 for Gareth Rogers and takes the win. And looking at reaction times on the start line, you can see why the Fiat Topolino driver got out first and takes the win in modified eliminator. Great win and great racing. Super Sedan final coming up now. The popular class, Trevor Dick making it all the way through a big field, burns out in the Plymouth Barracuda, and the in-car footage showing it's actually a little bit of work keeping the car straight in the burnout. I think the fun factor is forgotten, very amply demonstrated in this pass. And beside him, Matt Gibbons, all business in the Dodge Daytona. He's dialed in a 9.63, but Trevor Dick will get the opportunity to leave first and cut the better reaction time on the start line. Nails it on the start line. Is he out in front? Well out in front, out of camera shot. In fact, Matty Gibbons will run him down across the top end of the racetrack. I'm not sure whether he can do it. Trevor Dick taps the brakes across the finish line, takes the win, 10.71 on a 10.74, and boy is he animated inside the car and across the finish line. Watch the reaction times. Look at that great reaction time. Matty Gibbons a little bit asleep on the start line. I think it's cost him the race. Moving down the racetrack, he's tried hard to catch him up, and look how much of a close finish it was. He really had made up a lot of time.
Congratulations, Trevor, first prize.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're really stoked. Yeah, just thanks to everyone, crew, Gary and Pete and that. Of course, the company I work for, Chainsaw and Outdoor Power, and the Oregon products really ease the pain. So no, we're really stoked.
Supercharged Outlaws final time now, and these two tough competitors burning out. Supercharged Outlaws, of course, supercharged V8 power, very noisy, very fast, still dial your own racing. Just waiting now for both competitors to back up. We can see the Davidson small block powered dragster. Pit crew just going through the pre-race routine. Still dial your own racing. And clean greens either side of the racetrack, tight on the racetrack. And who's going to get across the finish line first? It looks like it's going to be Christensen, but he breaks out. Davidson takes the win with a 7.10 on a 7.10 final. Look at the replay. Both cars leaving clean on the start line. Davidson stays out in front all the way down the racetrack. Competition bike final this time round. Ian Wilkins burning out in the Suzuki turboed funny bike. Graham Fox in the Westlake powered. Two very different modes of fast transportation. The Index 4 competition bike, double B competition bike for Fox, 983. That's the number he's got to run. 768 for Wilkins. Look at the difference on the start line. The turbo Suzuki, I'm not sure that he could run him down. In fact, he's nowhere near him across the finish line. Fox will take the win, a 951 on a 983 Index.
Today's a pretty good day. We've had a friend and brother involved in motorsport die on Friday. Well, died early in the week, but was buried on Friday. And a lot of us wanted to go to the funeral, but we decided we'd come up here and see if we could do something for him. That's why we got the armbands on. And yeah, we've done very well. We're very pleased.
The two teammates from Nelson meeting up in the final. We see John Gordy burning out in the little B Altered. his national record he's got to run against is a 8:20. In beside him though, Clinton Lockheed, his actual teammate and employee at Gordy Automotive in the SR20 powered altered. His national record is a 7:83. It's going to be a tough call, and who's going to take the win in this important final and competition eliminator. I thought that the little turbo roadster might not be able to run him down, but he is. He's certainly very close to him. In fact, he's looking at him across the finish line, but Gordy takes the win, an 8:20 national record. He went 8:07 under the national record for the win. Looking at the replay, and some great camera action here at Taupo Thunder Dragway, but look at the top end of that little race. He didn't quite make it. What a close finish.
Next week's show will feature all of the great racing action from the Superstock, Top Door Slammer and Top Alcohol here at the Rizone 45th NZDRA Drag Racing Nationals at Taupo Thunder Dragway.